Let's talk about retaining control over the PR and marketing process as you position yourself as an expert. Hi folks, and welcome to another edition of From Amateur to Expert Daily, where we talk about work, wealth, and how you can position yourself as a leading name in your industry. Today we're talking about the idea of retaining control over your own PR. I was reading something interesting by a political commentator who was taking a pot shot at the UN, and he made this point where he said the problem with the UN is that they become the place where things should get done. And if they don't get done there, then anyone else who may have solved that problem will relinquish control. So in other words, everybody thinks that they're going to do it. And if they don't do it, it doesn't get done. I wonder if you've ever experienced this on an interpersonal level, where somebody has told you, don't worry, I'll take care of it. Now you could have done it easily and well yourself, but you were effectively prevented from doing it by the fact that they said that they would. As we talk about building your career as an expert, you'll find that that happens to you often. Whether you are a speaker, coach, trainer, author, perhaps artist, singer, performer, you will always find yourself interacting with amplifiers and representatives. People who amplify your message, people who represent you to the world. That can take many forms. It might be an agent, a bureau, a publicity department. It may be a team of people whose key accountability it is to help you to get your message out there in one form or another. Now, I've just had an interesting example of this one. As you know, because I've been banging on about it for the last couple of months, I've just released a global book with Penguin called Virus-Proof Your Small Business: 50 Ways to Survive the COVID-19 Crisis. In the UK, it was picked up by Dorling Kindersley, which is a subsidiary of Penguin, and it was then published all around the world. Now, of course, that entails dealing with different book publishers, publishing houses, and marketing departments in different nations. Now, I have to say from personal experience that Penguin are flat out brilliant at what they do. They are a pleasure to work with, and their PR is excellent. But of course, we're now dealing with groups and departments and divisions in other nations that I've never met before and who are not necessarily as jacked up as our fellow professionals here. And I discovered that precisely that dynamic was happening to me. We were waiting for them to lead the PR process in certain nations, and they simply didn't. And it became a problem in the sense that we could have done it. It would be very easy for me, for example, to actually drive that PR. But I thought I wasn't in charge, and I didn't want to step on feet. Now, eventually, I've kind of seen the joke for what it is, and in these certain key nations where they are not getting into gear, I've simply taken charge and decided to do it myself. And in my case, it's a very simple thing. The book itself follows a 50 ways formula, as do all of my books. It's my writing style, and it is 50 ways to survive the COVID-19 crisis, 50 different ideas that entrepreneurs and business owners can attempt and implement. What I then did today is I took a few hours. I selected 7 of those ideas. I turned them into an article titled Small Business Survival: 7 Creative Ways to Make It Through. And I did a sort of a summary for each one, made it a short, sharp, punchy article, and I went looking for editors, producers, and media outlets within those problem nations. Now, it's the easiest thing in the world once you've taken back control. You simply send the emails out, you offer to back it up with things like video footage, interviews if they'd like. I included photos of the book cover, photos of myself, and so forth, and I made myself eminently available to them should they wish to have more. Now, it's surprising even to me that it took me so long to do this, because my entire career, my entire sort of body of knowledge really goes around this idea of how to position yourself as an expert. And I've spent some 15, going on 20 years now doing that actively. So even if you are fortunate enough to work with a team of genuine professionals in a marketing department, in a PR team, with your bureaus, your agents, your representatives, nevertheless, you should be driving the key impetus, the major momentum. If they happen to do a good job, and that's fairly rare to be perfectly honest, but if they happen to do a good job, wonderful, so much the better. But ultimately, the accountability for developing your name, your brand, and getting your message out there is yours. Do not relinquish it, and don't allow that UN dynamic to happen to you, where you don't do anything because you think someone else is doing something. It's your business, your brand, your message. You get it out there. If they happen to support you and do some peripheral marketing and PR along the sidelines, wonderful, but the major drive should come from you. Keep that up, retain that ownership, and you can position yourself as an expert.